Okay, I'm going to do a real quick demo on how to do a pulled handle for a mug. Okay, so there's lots of different shapes and sizes and lots of different ways to attach handles on mugs, but generally when you make a mug and you need to have a handle, the pulled handle is kind of the most common. I'll show you in class, and Trudy showed us the hand-built handle, which also starts sort of with a coil that's sort of kind of carrot shaped. For a pulled handle, you want to start with enough clay for a good size handle, and you want to roll it sort of carrot shaped with kind of a top that you're going to hold on to. Okay, so you want a bucket of water, and you want to kind of hold on to the top of your handle, and you're going to be pulling the handle down this way. Okay, so get your hand wet. Now my hand, I want the handle to have sort of a flatness this way, and then a thickness that way. I also sort of like to have a little bit of a groove down the middle, so that when you hold it, it kind of feels it sort of, your thumb has sort of a groove to settle in. I also like to sort of have the edges be a little bit thinner than the thickness. But you want a handle that's going to support your mug. You're going to be able to get a few fingers in. This would be, a one finger. But most of them have sort of a thicker at the top, thinner at the bottom. So you're going to start by pulling the clay down. Now the water creates some slip. Okay, and it's thinner on the side, right? So I'm using my fingers like this to pinch and pull down, right? Pinch and pull down. Pinching and pulling down. Now it's an interesting technique, because if you pull too hard, or if you pinch your fingers too hard, you can pinch off part of the clay, or you can get a thin spot. So it's just a gentle pressure on your fingers going like this, kind of pinching and pulling down. That will create sort of a square. Okay, every once in a while you can run your thumb down the middle to create that groove, right? So the thumb down the middle to create that groove, and you keep pinching and pulling. Gentle pressure, even pressure, so it gets thicker up here, thinner here, and then it can get a little thicker at the bottom. I'm also going to use my fingers on the side to pinch it a little bit thinner on the edges, and then on the other side I pinch it a little thinner on the edges as well. A little thinner on the edges. And you pull this until you have the thickness that you want. Every once in a while, go down that groove in the middle, and then thin out your edges. Okay. And the slip allows this to stretch, so you get a really nice, smooth look to the handle. Okay, so once you have this pulled out, nice groove in the middle, evened out, I'm going to pinch it off at the top here, and then I've got a rolling pin with some paper towel on it, and I'm going to drape this on top of that. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. This is really wet and really floppy right now, and it needs to set up before I want to put it on the mug. So there's a few different ways for you to do that. I'm going to pinch it off this lug, and then I can fold it over like so and set that on the table and let that set up like that. Okay, and what happens is clay has a memory, so it'll remember coming you know, straight down, and then as it's curling and sitting on the table like this, it will remember that curve. And if it dries in that curve, then when you put it on the side of the cup, it won't try to pull off the mug. It won't try to be flat again because it wants to be round. Now if your handle is a little shorter, this one's quite long, you can also get it to remember the curve by curling around your rolling pin. Now the paper towel is going to protect it from sticking to the rolling pin, but this will give it that memory of the curve. Once that sets up, it will hold its nice round shape, and you can set it on the table. Use your fettling knife to cut. Okay, cutting this way and this way so that we can attach that to the side of your mug. So you would attach this part first and then this part second. Okay, score, slip, jiggle, attach. Now if you look at the profile of this, you know, it's got a really nice curve, but that's a little bit too big for this mug. So once you have the top attached, you can take a little bit extra off the bottom, right? Reattach, like so. Okay? Or if I prefer a one-finger handle, you could do something like this at the bottom. Lots of possibilities for attaching handles, and there's lots of tutorials online to watch for how to do handles. Okay, so that's the pulled handle.